Hello and welcome to this series, Creating Through Crisis. I'm Alicia Culp, and I'm a leadership and transitions coach. And I absolutely love working with action-minded leaders as they go through a transition, and we work to fully recognize and activate their unique style of leadership. So they bring a greater sense of calm and creativity and definitely more energy to how they lead. And one of the areas that I really enjoy exploring with leaders is their core values, their personal values. And often at the top of the list is creativity. And I thought, this is an interesting time to explore creativity. For some people, creativity means a literal, tangible, artistic expression, something that they create with their hands or something that they're really passionate about. For someone else, it may be that it's how they bring their unique problem-solving abilities to the table to confront any kinds of challenges that they face. And often for business leaders, business owners, it's a kind of a combination that weaves between the two. So with that, during this time of volatility and extreme uncertainty, I thought it would be interesting and wondered really about how this period of time was influencing other leaders' creativity. So like a lot of forms of creation, this started with just a spark of curiosity and a desire to hear other leaders' stories, share those stories to inspire you, and really to connect us all during this time. So with that, I am very pleased to welcome our guest. There's three words that come to mind when I think of her, and they all start with P. The first one is passion, because she brings a fire in her belly to the creation that she makes. The second one is persistence, because she is laser focused on the goals that she goes after. And the third one is precision, because what she does has a unique design aesthetic, and it's uniquely individualized, handcrafted jewelry. So my very first guest is the creative director and president of Almut Belote Jewelry. Please help me welcome Almut Belote. So I am so pleased to welcome Almut Belote with us today. I had the opportunity to work with Almut a couple of years ago as she was gearing up to take the leap and start her own business. And it was a real joy and an opportunity just to explore energy and mindset and how we bring that to the table, especially when we're going through a big change. So, this series is all about individual crisis, or it could be what we're going through, the big crisis right now. So Almut, welcome and thank you for being here.
Thank you. It was always a pleasure to talk to you. And yes, you did tell me a lot, and I discovered a lot about myself. And I think that's actually really what helped me get through this situation right now. So
yay, right?
Yeah, I've been through ups and downs building a business, and knowing where you are and what kind of tools you have available is super helpful. Right. Because when you are in a crisis, you are usually freaking out, and then you have to do the homework before the crisis ever happens, so you know what to do when it happens.
That's a wonderful way of putting it, really. Someone said that to me just last week about, you want to have the tools in your toolkit before you go into the crisis mode. You want to be able to have those tools ready and available.
I'm all about staying a step ahead.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, let's talk about that a little bit. So, you have an interesting career background. I mean, most of us cannot say that we're a master goldsmith. So tell us a little bit about how you got started and what that means to you.
Well, I have been in this trade for 30 years. I learned it early when I was, I was 18, straight out of high school. I fell in love with it. And I'm lucky to have discovered something I really love to do every day. And work doesn't seem like work to me. It's just real joy, and it's highly creative. I create with my hands. It's hands-on, and it's a job where you get lost in it, and you forget what's happening around you. But then comes the aspect of building a business, which I did not quite 2 years ago.
Mm.
So with that, you have to wear all kinds of hats. But it's part of the challenge, and I love it too.
Brings a different type of creativity to the table, right?
So
How to
I
face.
have to design. I have to meet the client. Have to have a good relationship with my client. I have to design. I have to create. I have to run a business. I have to train people. I have to maintain a website. Get good with the finances, planning, visualization. It's all. You're really the one who does it all. Hopefully you can attract a good team. You're part of my good team.
Oh,
And
thank you.
that's
Thank
really,
you for saying that.
really awesome. You can't do it by yourself. You have to have a good team. And I am lucky to have a great team. Somebody who helps me with my social media. I have a great apprentice that is now a journeyman that I've trained. And I'm about to take on another apprentice. So even, see, this is the key too, even though we're in a little weird place, I'm still visualizing the future, and I'm thinking, no, it is a little scary to hire a new person right now, obviously, but I'm going to take that leap of faith because I know I'll still be here when this is over. And I'm already thinking about the future. It has to happen.
Wow, that's really exciting. It almost gives me goosebumps, right? Of having that leap of faith of when you see talent, right?
Yeah.
When you see it, I think that there's opportunity out there right now, that there are people.
Right, because sometimes opportunity presents itself for you to do something and you feel like, yeah, but it's not the right time. But when it presents itself, you have to embrace, you have to be smart about it. But in this case, I feel pretty confident that this will pass, and we're going to go for it.
Good. Oh, congratulations. That's wonderful. That's really wonderful. You've had some really good success. I mean, you won a really prestigious award last year. I think that was something that, congratulations on that as well, being recognized.
Yeah. It feels good.
Yeah, right. And I think it was something that you put together, really a piece that just sort of sprung from creative inspiration a little bit.
It was all of a sudden I had this opportunity, and other people could have said, well, I would like to have 3 months or 4 months to plan it. I had 2 weeks.
Wow.
So like, okay, guys, let's do this. Let's just go for it.
Make it happen.
I've had no expectations of winning an award, but I did.
Makes it even better, right?
Well, no, it's just kind of, you have to go for it.
Right?
You can't overthink it. If it feels right, you do it. I think that's the key. It feels right. If you have reservations, listen to it. Don't do it. You always kind of know what's right. Deep down, you always know, but sometimes we don't listen.
We override it.
Yeah.
We override it, right? So what are some things that you do? We'll kind of bounce back to what we're going through right now and how you prepared for it. But I'm curious you spoke of being prepared ahead of time. What are some of those practices that you found to be really healthy for you to keep your energy level up and your mindset kind of free and clear? How do you do that?
I'm almost lucky to have, gone through a stressful time when I did start the business, because that's when I contacted you. And I have always read a lot of books, and I have practiced meditation, and but it does help to get a little help and be reminded, and just going, like, even this interview is very helpful because it reminds you have done something, because self-doubt is huge. So doing that was a good thing. And then I was reminded, sorry, there was a text. I was
reminded. He calls. This is a casual conversation.
Calming yourself down when it gets really stressful, because your heart rate will be up, and it'll be up in your neck, and you can't sleep, and you toss and turn. You have to get that sleep. And something I came across was EFT tapping, which it sounds really weird when you first see it, and you feel like, wow, I don't know, but it really works. That was one of the good things I practiced. And then actually, just sitting still, meditation, even though you feel like, oh, I'm really bad at doing this. you just do it anyway. That's basically, just do it. Just don't overthink
Do
it. Sit down, even if you feel like, okay, I have not relaxed at all. My mind's been going 100 miles an hour. You'll be surprised. Just actually sitting with your thoughts while they're happening in your head, all your worries, it does take the edge off. And then exercise and stay active. And then besides all of that, the biggest advice I would give somebody, just keep going. Don't let anything hold you back. And to me, continuing to be active and continuing to be creative is the best stress relief, because you feel like, okay, I don't care, no matter what, I'm just gonna keep going. Just keep doing what you're doing. If you love it, if you feel like you're really good at it, do it.
It was great to hear you again when you were first talking.
The whole thing about it. That's all you can do.
Just do it. Just keep going. Right?
Keep going.
Yeah, you have a dip. You have you're feeling kind of down. You're not really sure where to go with it. I like that, you're sharing that you take that quiet time sometimes to be able to, even if you can't entirely quiet your mind, you take that space. And I think as a true creative, you would need to do that. But at the same time, as a business owner, we're always creating. We always have to sort of reinvent, whether it be ourselves or our relationships with our clients, the pieces that we design or what we put out there. I mean, that's what it's all about, right? Is just staying kind of in a state of movement. Stay moving.
Yeah, just keep moving no matter what. And like in this situation, you can't, it's happening. Like I can say, I don't like it, and wow, this is really messing me up. I was doing so great. I was building my business, and now this, and that's not helpful. So in my case, all of a sudden you may not have the revenue that you used to have last year. So what do? Stop working? No, I went to work every day. My situation was unique. I could go in. I was isolated anyway. But am I gonna create with expensive materials right now? No. At this point, it opened up all this time to create new prototypes, and I did some things that I scrapped and just threw away, but I had the actual leisure of doing that because there was time. So yeah, I thought, okay, wait, this is good, because again, just thinking, okay, when we come out of this, what do I want to show for? What have I done during this time of crisis? And I was visualizing, okay, when it's over, I'm just gonna come out with all this new stuff, and people are gonna say, man, she did some stuff while we were all sitting. And sometimes I even visualize, okay, well, others may be sitting on the couch. While they're doing that, I'm gonna do something else. And I think that gives me that I'm a step ahead of everybody who is just maybe depressed.
Yeah, it's that edge.
Just let this whole situation put them down, and it paralyzes them. And I get up. I make a point of getting up early, even though I could be sleeping all day. I set my alarm at 6. I'll be up. I'll be doing something.
Yeah, giving a little bit of giving some structure to the process, so that then you can do what you
not. So well. Yeah, and if you're not, you're just spiraling down. And
yeah, when this started to first happen, and you knew you were going to have to close your workshop and design studio, how did you manage through that? I mean, how did that impact your creativity and your business decision making?
Well, I mean, because and we talked about this, when we talked a year and a half ago. It's good to know who you are, because I know already from our sessions that a lot of times in a crisis I'll go into fight mode, and it's not always beneficial. But in this case, I recognized, okay, because I was literally thinking, oh, okay, wait, no, I'm gonna fight. And then I recognized it in myself, and I thought, okay, well, this is healthy right now. Like, go with it, use it. And so, finance instantly. I think the day off or maybe even before, I was already looking at financial aid, and I had it instantly in place. Once I had my finances secured, I could just relax into this new situation, and like I said, I just switched my daily activity at work. I just started thinking about all these new designs that I would like to make. There were so many things I've been wanting to do for so long, and I never had time for it, and now I did. So it was just a switch.
Yeah, again, that's that mindset shift.
Not stopping, just keep going, not stopping.
Yeah, that fighter energy, right? That was a perfect example. I mean, that's where you want to be able to really put it into action, and it gave you that spurt that you needed to kind of like a little mini sprint that you needed to do. Like, we know ultimately this is a marathon, you know, you're an athlete, but we're running a marathon right now, and we're not even really sure where the end line is, you know, the finish line. So,
and it doesn't really matter. You just keep going.
Just keep going.
I mean, I don't know where it's going, but I'm gonna keep going.
Yeah. It's being open, isn't it? It's being open to kind of trying. I mean, even this process, I mean, we've gone through, I mean, full disclosure here, you know, Almut and I have, I've overcome some technical difficulties and our timing and trying to get everything together, right? So our energy, you know, but it's being willing and open to just try. And I know for me, I work with affirmations a lot. And I know we talked about that. And just writing those things at different times that help rally me. And one of the ones that I had written for myself, one was, I have moxie, because I needed to remember that, you know, like I'm not going to give up during this time. And not be filled with fear, but really go in with courage. And the other one was just to take this time to just joyfully learn, like just learn, and almost like a playful spirit of just like, okay, let's test this out. Let's try something new, you know, a Facebook Live post, or you know, writing some things, or reaching out and seeing, hey, you know, I got this idea. Who wants to jump on board? And you know, it's wonderful.
When you told me about this, I thought, oh, well, yeah, you know, I've actually never been on a Zoom meeting. A lot of people, but we're getting all these new skills. We're acquiring a lot of new skills, and I love that. I always love that.
I do
I always
too.
feel like, I can be good at anything, which is not true. But I sure feel I could.
Yeah. Right, exactly. It's like,
you know, in the creative field, not you know, not in math, for sure.
Right. Then why not me? And it doesn't mean like you have bad days. You have days that get you down, right? Where the energy's off, something affects us. I mean, I have days where, okay, you got to really dig in there and get that energy up again, or make sure that we feel really confident about what we're doing. I mean, anytime you're expanding and growing, you're putting yourself out there. Like, you're putting yourself in a position of it feels a little bit vulnerable sometimes. It feels a little uncertain. Sometimes it's frustrating, all those things, right? But it's like, okay, it's part of the process.
Yeah, you never know. You could succeed or not, but if you don't try.
Yeah, I've been seeing, everything has been on my mind since kind of about midway through, as this was really starting to happen and we were in stay in place. I just started looking at everything through the lens of creativity. And it made it just kind of an interesting process of what actually popped out for me, even around my home, the things that I saw that inspired me, or, you know, even quotes. Like I read a quote that I loved. It was, creativity takes courage, Henry Matisse, the painter. And I was like, that's so true, because you're putting yourself out there.
Yeah, like I have said that in an interview before that I had with an editor, and I told her my work is an extension of who I am, because that's how I feel. You know, I'm just, this is me, and maybe somebody's gonna come in and say, or criticize it, and I'm sure that's gonna happen.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Be ready for that. But then, you know, one thing too, because during this crisis, you know, like this didn't just affect my business, it affected my husband's work. It affected my kids. They're both in college now. They felt like, whoa, you know, what's happening? Is our education on hold? And that first initial week was literally, we were thinking, okay, well, what's happening? Like, is my husband going to lose his job? And then you know, I think the thing I drew on, but there were two things. The one important thing is I felt accepting what is happening and knowing that it's you know, there are so many things happening in the world, like whatever happened here, it just developed over time, and it is what it is, and it's exactly how it should be in a way. And knowing that I trust in this, I have this huge trust in the universe, and I'm part of it, and it's all good, and I'm just gonna go with it and adjust, and it's all good. And the other thing, every time I do have a very, very hard time that I'm thinking about, like in a person, you know, my family struggles, you know, we all have family members that have come before us that I always feel like they are within us. And we know, I mean, we've been a lucky generation. I have had very little struggle in my life. And when I compare it with, for instance, my grandparents who have lived through 2 world wars, my mother was born in 1942. That was, you know, right at the end. They've had to flee Vienna. I mean, the stuff they had to go through is horrendous. And what I'm doing, this crisis, it felt like it was nothing. And also the knowledge that I have that within me, and we are all this you know, we're all the people that we came before us, and I like to tune into that and draw from that. It gives me a lot of strength. And I feel like I'm her. I'm my grandmother. I am her. I can do this.
I love that. You know, I have a picture of my grandmother out. I've been switching things out around my computer right now that to give me sort of, you know, different inspiration, and just recently pulled a picture out of both my grandparents, actually. I was cleaning through some things and I have their pictures other places, but this particular one I really love. So I love that you speak of that and how grounding that is, and you come from good stock.
Because we may be a little weak, because we haven't had to struggle. And this is for a lot of my kids have never had to struggle.
Yeah.
We provided a really good life for them. This is the first time when they felt a little, ooh, the world may not be okay. Like, this may not be okay.
So going into it and helping them know, okay, what can you learn from this, right?
I felt, oh, well, this is kind of good for my children. Like, experience something that's a little uncertain, like really uncertain. And you know, different kids, there's a lot of children who are going through great struggles every day. I'm really just talking about my kids, you know, how spoiled they are.
I appreciate that.
In a way of that they have never had to struggle. So
I appreciate sharing that too, because this is all about just sharing unique perspectives. It's your personal perspective, what you're going through. And I think, you know, that always removes judgment when we just look at it. It's my experience.
I'm just talking about myself, because I love, and you know, I'm on Facebook and I scroll through the pages, and one thing I did like to see, there was this post, and it was all over. We're all in the same storm, but we're not in the same boat. And that is so true for this situation, because there are people who are totally okay. Their businesses are fine. Actually, they're making more money than ever. And there are some that can't even afford to feed their family. And it's so, yeah.
Definitely still a very uncertain time.
I'm talking about myself here, because, and it's also okay to be okay. You know, we all have to, you know, I don't have to feel guilty, but I do fight for being okay. It doesn't come easy. I do fight for it.
So as we're kind of wrapping up here, just kind of tell me again, I know you wove it in there earlier, but what's that mantra that you say to yourself that you're working with right now that helps support you during this time?
That one, that it's okay the way it is. Work with it. Don't recoil. Don't say, I don't like this. Just go with it. I've experienced
Everything
that
is working out
in my life. Yes.
right. Everything is working out.
Yeah. Well, or it just is like you may not like it, but you have to still work with it. And if you don't, it's not going to get any better. Actually, this is the one that has gotten me through high school, through all kinds of things my mom would say, and I would hate it as a teenager because she was like, grab the bull by the horn. Meaning like just, you'd be like, I don't want to do this homework. Just get it done. Grab the bull by the horn, get it done, and move on.
That's fabulous. That's fabulous. No. Well done, Mama.
But somehow she said it often enough that I'm now telling that to my children.
It got in your brain, right?
Brainwashing, and it's a good one.
I think that is
absolutely
fabulous.
So
that's
procrastination is the worst. It is the worst. Yeah, it's killer. It's the worst.
Yeah, well, but that's a great visual, right? You have to get it there.
I have the visual. I've always had the visual.
That's perfect. That's perfect. Almut, thanks for being with us here today. You brought great nuggets of wisdom and inspiration, I think, for everyone listening. And if anyone is interested in learning more about Almut and her showroom and design studio, please check her out at almutbelotejewelry.com. And if you're going through a period of transition and you really want to explore infusing more energy and creativity into meaningful work, please reach out and let's just have a conversation. Be well. Thank you.